city of 1,000 planets. After centuries of peace and prosperity, an unknown force wants to destroy all we have created.
Agents Valerian and Laureline, you have less than 10 hours to find the threat and eliminate it.
Let's get to work.
History is on the march.
A long time ago, when I was 10 years old, I discovered the first album of this comic book, Valerian. And I was like, oh my God, what is this thing? I think what struck me is the storytelling. It was the first time that we see a modern couple. They were acting like two normal people today, except that they are in the 28th century and everything is weird. The environment was just crazy. It's like aliens everywhere and worlds everywhere. When I was working on The Fifth Element with Mézières, the main designer from Valerian, he was the one saying, why you don't do Valerian? Why you do this Fifth Element thing? I mean, the technology was not good at the time. It was not possible. And then way later, Avatar arrived, and Avatar makes everything possible. There's no limit anymore.
Amazing. I drew the story we're shooting now 40 years ago.
Did you ever think you would get turned into a movie?
No.
We start to work with the artist 3 years before we start the film. We start the storyboard a year and a half before.
Nice.
We were so prepped when we start the film that the shooting almost looks easy.
Action! Run! 1, 2, 3.
We have Valerian and Laureline. There are two cops. Show me your gun when you're in.
Good job, boys.
And they can travel in space and time. Valerian is a little pretentious.
Stand back up. I'll take the front line.
How about you run for backup for a change?
He always thinks that he will save the day. Everything is a little too easy for him. Laureline is probably my first love. 10 years old, you know, you start to get feelings.
Hey, handsome. You're looking a lot better.
Nice to see you again. Agent Lorelai was splendid as ever.
They are very human. They fight. And he's desperately in love with her.
I just jumped off a cliff. I want more stunts.
Their mission brings them to a space station made up of 1,000 alien species from the four corners of the universe.
Welcome to Alpha.
Alpha, called the City of 1,000 Planets, because all the knowledge in the universe is there.
The Alpha Station has 3,236 species, with over 5,000 languages spoken.
It's Wall Street, City of Science, United Nations, Broadway. Everything is there. So it makes the city the most important in the entire universe.
It's paradise.
It has always been my dream to put their characters on a big screen. And now it's the time. On The Fifth Element, there is 188 special effects shots, when in Valerian there is 2,734. I've waited my entire life to make this film, and the journey has been amazing. I gave it everything I had, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So have fun, and see you in space.
The thing that drew me to the character of Laureline most is her strength. She is so intelligent and hardworking and determined, and she's not scared to speak her mind. You know, no matter how big, small, you know, what kind of alien or place she is in, she will, you know, overcome her challenges. Luke is definitely known for his strong female characters. To work with him has been, you know, an absolute dream for me. Every movie he's ever done is probably most of them are my favorite films. So, you know, to see this movie come to life is just, you know, another pinch me moment. I really hope that girls and young women take away that fact that, you know, Laureline is extremely hardworking and a strong, you know, female space cop, and she, you know, is just as able to do everything that Valerian is able to do. Laureline basically has the knowledge of Alpha. She knows everything. She knows how to work everything. She knows all the different aliens. She knows all the different codes. Valerian kind of goes into things head first without kind of thinking about them, whereas Laureline kind of figures them out and is the kind of strategy behind it all.
Welcome to Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets.
Alex, can you update us?
I'd be delighted to. The Alpha station has grown 7% this year. And since it left the terrestrial orbit, it has traveled almost 700 million miles.
Population?
Almost 30 million. 3,236 species from the four corners of the universe live on board, pooling their knowledge and cultures. Over 5,000 languages spoken, not counting the various computer languages.
Demographics?
To the south are the submerged parts with 800 species living in all kinds of liquids, such as the peaceful polong farmers who grow cobalt. To the north, we have gaseous lands dominated by the Azine Mo, whose extreme sensitivity makes them specialists in neurosciences and molecular components. They can build cells of any kind. To the east of them, the large colony of Omelites. They control information technology, finance, and banking. Finally, to the west, in a pressurized atmosphere, we have 9 million humans and compatible species.
Home sweet home.
His name is Commander Aaron Fillett, and he's a very high-ranking commanding officer. He's a soldier, he's a military man, and he is kind of a leader when it comes to wars. I said yes to doing the film pretty quickly, but that was mainly because I really liked Luke and wanted to work with him, and you know, I knew shooting here, and you know, it just sounded like a lot of fun, and I liked him a lot. So, and he sent me the scenes, my scenes. He wouldn't send me the whole script at the beginning, but he did send me my scenes, and I said, yeah, I'm in. I'll do it. It sounds fun, and I knew I was going to be free about the time that he wanted me, so I said yes. And it wasn't until later that I looked at the original graphic novel, yeah, it's great. It was great. He did an awful lot of research on all the characters and gave me a sort of background. And basically, my character was basically a sort of model military student, really, who ended up going to the dark side at some point. He's similar to some other directors that I've worked with in that he's totally in control of what he's doing, and I get the feeling that, you know, he's already done so much prep, he's worked out so much that it's, you know, it's terribly organized, it's very sort of, you know, disciplined, he knows exactly what he wants each day, and it's very specific. I mean, when you're doing a film that has this much computer generated stuff, I think you have to be incredibly specific in terms of what you're shooting and what you're going to need in that world and what you don't need, and it means that everything has to be worked out. You can't just sort of loosely put something together and then go, oh, we need this much CGI. It's incredibly specific. But I've had a great time working with him. He's, you know, he knows exactly what he wants. He's very, very relaxed. And, you know, he has a really sort of disciplined team of people that have obviously worked with him before. And things are just incredibly smooth. There isn't that usual sort of tension and slight panic in the air that you get on some film sets. It's all very together and very assured. Great, they're super nice. They're both, I think, brilliantly cast. I think in terms of the, you know, the original graphic novel, they've got the right look, the right spirit, the right energy. They seem very good together, and they're super nice, both of them. So it was very pleasant. The biggest challenge might be not really that. I had that many times where I've joined a film that's so established and so. I mean, they'd shot over, you know, 60 odd days before I sort of arrived into the thing, and you've got to kind of hit the ground running, and getting the temperature of a film that quickly and stepping into it and doing your thing is, that probably was the biggest challenge. But it was all made very easy and smooth because Luke's so chilled and relaxed.
Let's go.
Luc Besson, he reached out to my manager and I, and he just said, you know, I have a really cool idea and I would like to run it by you, but I want you to come meet with me in person so I could really show you it, all the pictures, the images, and really explain it. He kind of just explored the whole world and explained the vision and my character, Bubble, and what he wanted me to play and what I would be doing, and I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Sci-fi movies are always really fun, and this one has such a modern twist. There's a lot of reality in this world that's not real, and that's why I think I was attached to it. Luke is very, very passionate about his art, and you know, he had all the boards laid out and he was just very enthusiastic. I saw how much he loved it and how much he really cared about this project, and he worked on this for 9 to 10 years. I mean, it's something that I felt like I could trust, you know, because he took his time and he spent a lot of time on it, something that he's very close to. And I love it. I love working with Luke. He loves to demonstrate. That's my favorite part about working with Luke, seeing him demonstrate Bubble. She's in this place and she has to perform, and the thing that makes her feel free is her performing, her being an artist, her becoming whatever and making people happy in that way. She's an entertainer. We meet Bubble in a cabaret club called the Glam Club, and she right away is an artist. She's performing. She's taking all different types of shapes, back to back to back to back. And it's a pretty fun scene. It gets a little emotional at one point because she doesn't like people who don't like her art. And she's very sensitive about her art, as all artists are. It was fun to go from look to look. It was definitely a lot of changes, a lot of makeup changes especially, and a lot of hair changes, a lot of wig changes. And I would say the one that took the longest was probably the Cleopatra look. It was a lot of detail, a lot of waterproof makeup. That definitely, you know, you had to take your time to do that. Of course. I mean, everybody who loves film is a fan of Luc Besson's work. I mean, he's incredible. He's one of the best, and everything he does is so detailed, and he pays attention to everything. He pays attention to hair, makeup. Like, he literally is coming into the room, looking at the makeup, telling you if he likes the outfit. He's going through costumes. He will fly to see you just to go through costumes. Each look, just to see if you like it, if you don't like it, if you want to change it. He's also really open to that. He wants you to love it and own it. And I really appreciate that. I'm so blessed to be having this experience. And he is especially very patient when it comes to working and directing me, because, you know, I'm very new to the movie world, and he's very considerate of that. He knows exactly how to get what he wants out of you, and that's what a director is. That's the thing that was so intriguing about this project. I found that he somehow found a way to keep you connected and keep you relating to the roles, each person's character. And he wants you to fall in love with them as well as being blown away by this incredible world that he's creating out of his own brain. He's crazy.
Leaving exospace.
3, 2, 1, exit.
Whoa, easy.
We're late.
Yeah, well, better late than dead.
You wanna drive?
Whoa, put your hand back on the joystick. Dorleen, put your hands back on the joystick. Dorleen, will you please put your hand back on the joystick?
Will you stop complaining about my driving?
Yes, I'm sorry. You're a great driver. You're the best driver in the entire universe.
Oh, thank you.
He's a little pretentious. He knows he's strong. He knows his skills. So he always thinks that he's going to resolve the thing very, easily. And he always protecting Laureline, saying, stay for backup, I'm going to go to the fire, kind of. And actually, he can't do it without her. He needs her. It's, they have to work. You're always stronger when you two than when you're by yourself, for sure. So, and he knows that. What's interesting in the film is there's a moment where, Laureline lost him, and she has to save him, and she's doing the job. But that just right after, he lost her, and he also has to do the job to find her and save her. And so they're very complementary together. And he's also a little, he's made by the rules. He's a military guy. So the rules are the rules, and you follow the rules. She's much more, she has a heart. So rules are good, but what about if you come to a situation where you have to be human? And that's where she's coming. Because otherwise, if she's not there, he will stick to the rules and probably take the wrong decision. But she's here to push him and say, you know, work with your heart, not your brain for once, you know. Laureline is different from Lilou from The Fifth Element, or, you know, Matilda from Léon, or Joan of Arc. She's different, and I love that. I love to show women when they're strong. It's not just like one image. You know, you can be strong different way. And Aung San Suu Kyi, the Burma's leader, is strong in her own way. And Joan of Arc is fighting with a sword, which is not Aung San Suu Kyi at all, but she's also fighting, you know, with her femininity. And then Lilou is the supreme being. So it's also something different. She has all the power. Laureline is a kind of like normal girl. She's a cop. She's working. If we do the film today, it will be Starkey and Hutch, you know, and she will play Hutch. Or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but in space. So she studied, she tried to, you know, have a good position in life. She's a woman, she has her own, you know, view on the thing, but she's normal in a way. We have to go back a long time ago when I was 10 years old, and there's this comic book every Wednesday. It was on the kiosk, as we say in France. And I have to wait every Wednesday to take this booklet called Pilot. And inside, I discovered the two first pages of the first album of Valerian when I was 10 years old. And I was like, oh my God, what is this thing? Especially Laureline, because at 10 years old, you know, you start to get feelings. And then I think Laureline is probably my first love. You know, I fall in love with her, and Valerian, I just want to be Valerian. I just want to be the hero. And so I really get involved since then, waiting every Wednesday to get 2 more pages. And then the first album, and then 29 albums after that. And I always been totally passionate. But what was interesting is I was passionate, but I never thought about making a film about it. I really have to wait The Fifth Element. When I was working with Mézières, Mézières is the main designer from Valerian. He's the creator of Valerian and Laureline. And I met with him, and then he works on The Fifth Element. And then he was the one saying, why you don't do Valerian? Why you do this Fifth Element thing? And I never thought about it because it was just part of my childhood and my souvenir. And then, but then I start to scratch my head and say, yeah. And I read the albums again, and it was not possible to make the films at all. I mean, the technology was not good at the time, and it's like aliens everywhere and worlds everywhere. And it was just impossible. So I put that on the side, and then it's way later. Then I start to think about it again, and then Avatar arrived, and Avatar makes everything possible.
We need to talk.
Oh, it's starting to make trouble here. Ow! Sorry.
If you don't help me find Valerian, then this bullet's gonna find you. You're up first.
No. It's to avoid such situations. But all of our information is divided 3 ways. Kill one of us. And you kill the information. What a pity that would be.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me credit, though, because I don't have much on me.
Oh, how tiresome. If the commander were here, he could use the converter to pay us. But he's been abducted. Precisely because he had the converter on him. Unless, for security reasons, someone else was carrying it on them.
How in space did you get that info?
It's not info. Just deduction. We know how humans work. They're all so predictable.
Clearly, you've never met a woman.
Okay.
What's the shortest way there?
North-northeast, 113 degrees.
60, 70, 80, 90. That leads me straight into a wall.
You said you wanted the shortest way. Home sweet home.
Because the sky is blue, it makes me cry. Because the sky is blue. Because the wind is high, it blows my mind.
We get on just great. You flirt. I smile.
Yeah, we're a team.